A very warm welcome to this session of Let Us Talk It. ZIPINAR, we always try to bring in something different, a topic that will excite, that will communicate some understanding which we might be having to some degree. But later on, when we learn about that topic a little bit more, we get a broader idea or a broader view. So welcome everyone who has joined in on Facebook, LinkedIn, or YouTube. We would highly recommend you to join in the Zoom link, which is everywhere. So please join in and you can directly talk to our two wonderful and powerful women, I must say. And I'll tell you the reason why, who has joined in today to talk on two very distinct and important topics. We, as you know, these are professional webinars. We do it for the community. And if we can get back the feedback from our community, it's nothing better than that. It's something that motivates us. It's something the speakers, when they come in, they get motivated, and their only sole purpose here right now is to motivate people to give that knowledge, empower, get involved. So if you can do your part, then our day is a success. So with that, we begin our session. Today's first topic would be the paradox of choice. Let us delve into what makes these choices very difficult to make. Or is it very easy? Or is it procrastination? Or is it just not making those right choices? How to do it? I don't know what we can delve into, but I know that the speaker we have is a strong woman. She is a commander, Prabha Lal, which is in by itself speaks a lot. So as I was saying, see the background she has on her screen is our Indian flag, because that's how much she's related to the country. She does something different than what we do, our general, community as a whole. She is a professional speaker, TEDx speaker, trainer and coach, Indian Navy veteran, an astute military professional with magnificent hands-on experience of around 17 years. She is now a professional motivational speaker, trainer, and ICF-CCE certified coach. She has and she's also a warrior mindset and productivity coach. And she enables people to adopt best practices from the armed forces to stay ahead of the learning curve. She uses her extensive experience from the armed forces to inspire and empower people to stop procrastination, take massive action, have freedom of time, improve social skills, happiness, productivity, and awesomeness. She's also a member of Professional Speakers Association of India. So as I said earlier, she's a strong lady. And I'm not saying those who are not in the armed forces are not strong, but here that she has a platform to showcase that, yes, she's doing something for the country. And we are so proud of you, Prabha. More power to you. Over to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And I do resonate with the word strong women. But ladies and gentlemen present over here, this strong as an adjective doesn't come very easily. You have to earn this adjective. We all in our life must have come across many situations when we have to make our own choices. And that is what I'm going to speak upon. In our life, we often come across situations when we badly want to do a particular thing, but we decided otherwise and went ahead with not doing so. Isn't it? Most of you will agree with what I'm saying. Well, if it is so, you're not alone. I'm sure you all must have had your situations like this. In life, we often stand across, at crossroads when we have to decide whether to go for a particular thing or step back. And at that moment, there are two conflicting inner voices within us. One which can either make us or the other which can break us. Now, it depends on our dominating voice, what we choose. And we then take decisions accordingly. Sometimes leaving the options not taken makes your near and dear ones unhappy, right? And not choosing what you really wanted will make you sad. Happens, right? Because this regret, it weighs tons. You want to do something, but you have not chosen it. Take an example. Let's say we go to a restaurant. Whenever we have these choices, we have, when we don't have choices, it's okay. But when we have choices, how do we take decisions? We go to a restaurant. The options are buffet, a la carte. How do we choose? It either depends on the needs or the desires, what we have in our mind at that particular time, I would say. We have to make a choice. There will be, a tussle in your mind. You can look at the menu, or you can look at the price. Either way. And today I am going to share with you some of my such moments from my life, and 3 things which holds us to make correct choices in our life. Yeah, I have a life. Everybody will have life full of stories. And I also have similar stories. So let me share with you some stories. When I was a child, I remember my mother telling me, "Beta, you have to finish eating your food." We as child, we all have our tantrums. Mama, no, not this or that. And she used to tell, you have to finish eating. The choice is yours. Either eat it smiling or eat it crying. There's no other choice, but you have to eat it. And she also used to say that if you let the barking dogs stop you, you will never reach your destination. My dear friends, these 2 things about choices, some examples in our daily life, which our parents, they make us take the choices, the decisions which we have to take in our life. Those are not inculcated in school or colleges. In our everyday life, we face a situation, we think, and then we take decisions. I was brought up in a semi-liberalized family. So when I revealed one day that I wanted to join the armed forces, there was huge resistance, natural, because there was no one from my family from the defense background. Shut up. Immediately came the reply from my father. What will you do joining the army? Leave aside boys. There are no girls. Leave aside, there was boys. So what will you do joining the army? So I started arguing. Why, Papa? I can do it. I can be the first from the family, and so on. But he did not budge. The voice inside me kept on telling me to go for it. But then, after listening to my father, the other voice prevailed, and I kept quiet. So I did my engineering thereafter. Once, what happened? Few guests had come, and during a casual conversation, my father he mentioned that beta means daughter, you have to become madam, either by virtue of yourself or by virtue of your husband. The choice is yours. And I was listening, and I was standing there like a rock. There was something within me which shook me. It stirred my soul. I had to make a choice. My parents definitely wanted me to study further. And you see how in life, those little moments wherein your parents instill in you the confidence to take your own decisions. They tell you the repercussions, but then the decision is yours. They are not going to do the hand-holding throughout their life. You have to stand on your own feet. So, in a nutshell, in life, you always have 2 choices. Either you sell or you get sold. Right? You must be thinking, what am I saying? Just think over it. From the time you get up in the morning until the time you go to bed at night, you are continually negotiating, communicating, persuading, influencing, and trying to get people cooperate with what you want them, like how you want the things to be done and how you want them to do. It could be asking your mother for, let's say, uh, 500 rupee or $10 in the morning. Mama, I want an ice cream or whatever. Let me take the example of this ice cream only. So as I mentioned, either you sell or you get sold. So either you convince others with your ideas or arguments, or you get convinced. So everything in life requires selling. You are either the one selling or being sold to. Example which I said, ice cream. So let's say a child wants to eat an ice cream and he goes to his mother. Case one, the mother scolds, explains to the child that eating ice cream is not good, you'll have a tooth decay, or it's cold outside, not now, or something. The child buys the idea and just goes away silently. Case two, the child doesn't budge, just starts throwing tantrums, screams, rolls on the floor, etc. etc. And now the mother says, okay, go, have your ice cream. Happens. To cut a long story short, after my engineering, I started preparing for, engineering services at the capital of India. It's in Delhi. But, deep inside, my desire to join the armed forces was burning. And so one fine day, I saw this advertisement for joining Indian Navy. So I thought, come what may, this time I'm not going to let my father sell the idea of his idea. This time I will have to sell my idea of joining the armed forces. And as usual, you must have guessed what would be the answer. No. I also did not budge this time. It is said that salesmanship begins when the customer says no. You must have seen in any mall, the moment you said, I don't like it, then the salesman starts telling you why you should buy. So this time I was hell-bent and I decided I will not let my father sell his idea. No is the first step to yes. No, maybe, we'll see. Yes. I finally convinced him. After all, parents, if you tell them the pros and cons, the kind of lifestyle, whatever. So they will be, if you tell them, explain to them, convince them, definitely they are, after all, thinking about your welfare. They must be having some concerns. So I cleared my services selection board, and on 9th August 2004, I entered the gates of Naval Academy, Goa. 4 months of rigorous training. And then after my completion of my training period, I happened to go to the city, and then on the streets, I see a billboard. Do you have it in you? And I said, yes, I have it. So in short, everyone has a story, and in that story, you get two choices. Either you sink or you swim. Again, the choice is yours. You always have a choice to keep attending to, the people around you who are the energy suckers, your dream stealers, your naysayers, or you have the choice to ignore those voices and move towards your mission, your vision. You march ahead, knowing soon those voices will be a distant path. Leave aside. I know it's not easy. It's easy, to say, difficult to do. But again, it's a choice. Who is going to win? The people or your dreams? It's going to be the one which you decide to feed. You can't feed both. You can't keep both of them happy. So again, now it is your choice to give your 100% energy towards those energy stealers, to explain, to get angry or resentful, or to use and concentrate all your energy towards your success. Stop being a victim. This victim card is not going to help you. Stop blaming and complaining. March ahead. When I joined the Navy in 2004, you must have come across this term permanent commission. Now, this in the Indian Armed Forces, it was not given to the women officers. So we had approached the Supreme Court for grant of permanent commission. When we were contemplating going to the court, again, two voices. It started doing dancing in my head, whether to go for it or not. But then I thought, way back in 1992, when the first batch of women officers had joined the armed forces, someone must have fought for it. And that is why the doors were opened for women in the Indian Armed Forces. And therefore, now it is my duty to do something for the generations to come. I bore the fruits of the seeds which someone had sowed long back. So now I need to water it and I need to give back. It always happens that the people who plant the seeds, they do not take the benefits. Somebody else, some unknown. And it is our duty to carry forward this legacy. And therefore, we went ahead, some of the bunch full of women officers, to the Supreme Court, and we won the case. And now we can see the girl cadets entering the National Defense Academy as well as the military schools of India. Sometimes you make a choice for a cause. You do what you feel is true to your soul. We consciously use only 5 to 10% of the brain. Rest is subconscious. And there sits the little voice, or you want to name it, the inner voice or resistance, whatever. Now this resistance, it loves hesitation. One moment of hesitation, and then it wins. And the only person that can beat your resistance is you. You need to have that courage within you. Take that leap of faith. You have to win it quickly within 30 seconds. Otherwise, this darling resistance takes over. Because this little voice is generally driven by emotions and fear. Fear of being judged, perfectionism. We all know that fear has two meanings: forget everything and run, or face everything and rise. Here also, the choice is yours. So as I mentioned earlier, this perfectionism, first, is a very beautiful thing, which drags us back. Sometimes we are, as a human being, we want everything to be flawless. In the military, there is a very nice quote by General George S. Patton. He says, a good plan executed well in time is better than a perfect plan never executed. You may have a very perfect, foolproof plan, but if it is not executed in non-time, what's the point? My dear friends, this perfectionism is nothing but procrastination in high heels. We analyze too much sometimes. Paralysis by analysis happens. Take action now. Whatever is your dream, whatever you want to do one action related to that. Start. You have to take that action right now, because perfect doesn't exist. The right time doesn't exist. Feeling 100% ready, Stop waiting for that perfect moment. Doesn't exist. So when is the better time? Now. If not now, then when? Don't live, giving those choices. One day I will do that. One day or day one. Again, the choice is yours. Do a small step towards your success. No, matters. I always used to tell this to my colleagues whenever I was assigned any task, that I can do this much better, but this is the best which I have given in that particular time and the available resources. Good enough to go? Shoot. So we had earlier ready, aim, fire. But now, even if you are 80% ready, just launch. Later on, you can, depending on the feedback, you can tweak it. There's no harm. We always wait to be perfect. No. As time move ahead, like we are living in the life of uncertainty. COVID. It has taught us so many lessons. So if you have made a perfect plan, let's say, but something which is beyond your control happens, now what will you do? So that is why it is said you should have a long-term vision, but make short-term goals. Analyze your goals. Keep on revising it frequently. Start half-baked. No issues. Start before you are ready. 80%, as I mentioned, it's okay. So you should be willing to let go of your doubt, perfectionism, fear, procrastination, maybe your genuine excuses, whatever. But then just start. Move ahead. Set a date for it and don't let resistance win. Second, fear of being judged. In India, we call it log kya kahenge. In the end, people will judge you anyways. There will be many people who are observing you. In Instagram or on any social media, you may see people with 0 post. Mind you, they are there just to keep an eye on you. They may not put a comment. They may put a comment which so that you may feel bad. But they are, remember, your energy suckers. They are observing you. Make a sound in such a manner that it should be heard by them. I always feel success is the sweetest revenge. Yes. And don't live your life impressing others. They are not going to, like, there's a saying that there is a particular circle of friends. You are the average of the 5 people with whom you live. And if those people who matter in your life, only listen to them. Otherwise, rest all are there to pull your legs. Don't live your life impressing others. Move ahead. Because at the end of the day, you have to work for the person in the mirror. Give your best. You should not work for anyone's approval. Now, of course, we all love approval, encouragement. But at the end of the day, before you go to sleep, when you're standing in front of the mirror, you should be proudly able to square your shoulders and say, yes, I gave it my best. That should be your motto. And if the mirror approves, then only go to sleep. Otherwise, again, start something related to your mission. Tweak. There must be something which is missing, that missing link. Small steps. Take action. The third one, comfort zone. Growth and comfort, they do not coexist. So if you do not move out of your comfort zone, you will not know how far can you go. Our human mind is, has so much of potential in it. If you have thought to do X, you will do, provided you collect all the energies, positive energies, leave aside the negative energies, and move towards your mission. In the armed forces, you must have seen the resilient people, how we all are trained to do so because of our mindset. We call it the warrior mindset. And achieving it is not an overnight thing. You have to build it. The resilient factor, overcoming your obstacle, that gives you strength. After you have achieved something, how's the feeling? Nice. You, every time when you have achieved, just think over it. You must have moved from your comfort zone. When I left the armed forces, this technology was, something, social media in particular. I was not tech savvy in terms of social media. I didn't even have an Instagram account. You must be wondering what, but yes, never had the requirement, or Zoom, the medium through which I am talking to you. But then once you think that I have to learn, you'll have to that learning, mindset. Be a lifelong learner. If you have this mindset, any area, wherever you step into, you'll definitely do wonders. I learned something, posted it, then learned something else, did my own mistakes. Mistakes? Yes, I learned it. So in life, we make a choice. How do we take those choices? Do not think too much on those things. Keep your parameters. What are your parameters to take those decisions? Is it going to help me towards my path to the success or not? So allow me to tell you something which I had read. It's by Lisa Nichols. People are more comfortable with a familiar discomfort than they are with an unfamiliar new possibility. They are not aware what is ahead if they move from their comfort zone towards their growth zone. They just want to remain relaxed, chilled in the life, the stable life which they are having right now. But if they do little bit of preparation, little bit of learning, they can climb the ladder of success. Lucky is not a person a person is not born lucky. Luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity. Look for this opportunity. And preparation doesn't happen in comfort zone, my dear friends. So you have to be comfortable being uncomfortable, moving from your comfort zone towards your growth zone. It's said that rolling stone gathers no moss. Yes. So with this dynamic VUCA world which we are living, we have to be adaptable, ready for change. Marshall Goldsmith has said, what has got you here will not take you there. And COVID is a very nice example. Overnight, things changed. The one, those who were adaptable, ready to move from what was existing, they survived. You must have seen companies, you must have seen people, how they toppled. So ultimately, to live a life of choices and not of compulsion is our ikigai. Yes, listen to your voices carefully and make your choices accordingly. Don't compare your chapter 1 with someone else's chapter 15. Write your own story. Tweak it. Take decisions for your future self, not your past self. This past will always present to you some reasons to pull you back, why you should not do something. And you are having that true potential. And who is going to identify that? You. You have to trust the next chapter of your life. Have that confidence. Pick up the pen and write your own story. Write a better story. Can we? This perfect conditions is not going to happen on its own. You have to start despite conditions not being perfect. I chose to swim. Come on. You all deserve so much better. It's your job to sink or to swim. The choice is yours. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Commander Brava. That's really a wonderful talk. It made me think about like how powerful a choice is. The choice you make has its own gains and consequences. You just choose which one better suits you. So now we open questions for our attendees. Would you like to share your thoughts or ask questions? Please feel free to unmute yourself. Yeah, we have here from Srini, the CEO of Cogent, the company behind Let Us Talk It. Thank you. Yeah. Okay. Seems like no one is sharing their questions yet. Well, you can leave it on chat or you can put it in the Q&A section if you wish to interact with Commander Prabha regarding the topic. Now, talking about the next topic for today, as mentioned by the earlier talk, it said, Commander Prabha said, launch yourself even if you are 80% and then wait for the feedback. And then it helps you like tweak and also make changes and improve whatever you have launched. And speaking about the feedback, it comes from the customers and from our allies. So we make alliances from those, and then we gain information from them, and we also gain partnerships. And with this, the topic would be strategic alliances and partnerships of startups will be given by an executive partner strategy leader focused in building partner ecosystems and successfully drive pipeline building and high conversion ratio. Let me introduce Jazz Alwalia, Jasleen. She has 20 or more years of experience as a leader in taking startups to the Gartner Leadership Quadrant, well-versed in strategic business solutions that focus on impactful revenue, acceleration, key skills, adding revenue growth for startups via partnerships, global account and alliance management, global cross-functional and executive collaboration, and relationship building. Here I present to you Jasleen Alwalia. Take over, Jess.
Thank you so much. I appreciate the introduction. I'm going to use a few slides to get started. The idea of the conversation today is if you are a startup in the space of, let me see if I can share my screen. Yeah, in the space of IT, and you're looking at selling to enterprises, normally what really happens is you create a startup and then you start to look at how you generate your revenue. I'm going to introduce some of the key features of how a partner ecosystem can impact your revenue substantially. It can give you an accelerated growth, and it can actually make an impact on how you are perceived in the marketplace. So let's start with, why do we partner, right? Couple of reasons. If you are a startup and if you are looking at selling directly to the customers, in the initial phases, I would say till the time you're a mid startup, you have a very limited budget in terms of hiring sales talent and reaching the outreach towards the customers. Partners already have substantial presence in the customer base. If you're able to partner and if you're able to create those relationships with your partner and leverage those relationships, you will be able to reach a much larger customer base. So what's really happening is you are increasing your pipeline via partners by using the sales talent that is available with the partner. So this is really important. But now the next question is, who do we really partner with, right? So depending on where your product lies, there are multiple choices of who you can partner with. One of the areas is your global system integrators, companies like TCS, Wipros, Infosys of the world, and then there are Accentures and EYs and Deloittes of the world, and then there are niche small partners. So depending on where your product expertise lies, you can choose either one strata of these partners, or you can look at going multiple tiers, working across some of these partners to create an outreach towards your intended customers. Some of these partners also create or can open new geographies for you. So if you have a partner ecosystem, possibly of a few partners, and you intend to go into another geography, but you do not want to create the entire paraphernalia of a sales force, you can use partners. So who you partner with is very critical. Choose your partners carefully. The idea is that they should be a two-way street. They should be able to give you business while you return the same to them. And this leads us to our next milestone, which is creating a partner strategy. Now, the more you think about what your partner strategy is going to be, the more you'll realize that a partner strategy is not outside of your overall strategy. It's a core part of your overall strategy, because partners are going to impact your delivery, partners are going to impact your sales, and they are going to also impact your marketing. So having said that, what go-to market plans that you create with each partner is going to create a very unique mix, a unique concoction of the results or the outputs that you derive out of it. So this is your go-to-market strategy is going to be very critical. Three areas where partners are going to make an impact are revenue. Now, revenue and enablement and marketing, I think that's pretty much understood. But let's understand how all of these are interconnected. And if, again, going back to the story of, if your concoction of your go-to-market strategy is spot on, then this actually creates an accelerated growth plan for your startup. So when you start looking at revenue, you want to be able to look at partners who are at the global scale and possibly can impact one customer globally. Again, large SIs are very impactful there, but you need to get to be able to get their focus. There are certain aspects of investments that you will need to make in those areas. For example, which leads me to my next quadrant, which is the enablement, right? How you're able to train your partners on your technology is a very big contributor to how the partners respond to the revenue that they generate for you. So if your enablement processes are not scheduled or are not set in a manner that the partners can easily train, or the partners, once trained, can actually implement your product, is going to impact your direct revenue. Just a suggestion here, I've done this for about 20 plus years, and what I realize is most startups start focusing immediately on revenue and marketing, and enablement is somewhere on the side. But if you reverse the whole focus and start focusing on the enablement part, I think revenue and marketing get impacted positively if you're able to do that. Now, how do you do that really? So there's a mix of few things that I would suggest. One is create a online self-paced training course which is modular in nature. So you send snippets of the big puzzle, everybody gets educated on one snippet, and then you move on to the next module. What it really does is it helps resources who are already into multiple projects get enabled on your technology at a pace that allows, or the time that allows them in their regular day job. Once the enablement is done via online training, there is definitely a need for resources to be trained, hands-on trained on your platform, on your product. What that really does is, most of these resources would be able to, actually get a look and feel of your product, will be able to understand what are the nuances, if they've done, or if they've learned a similar or a competitive product earlier, they will be able to ask questions and all that stuff. But having said that, the enablement piece has to be created in a manner that um, uh, uh, that once a resource come out of this training, they are they are ready to implement your product. So that's a key part. I'm going to move to the marketing next. What really happens on the marketing side is, and I'm trying to trying to tweak your focus towards partners. But what really happens is marketing, our entire marketing team is organized towards a customer. So when a startup really starts to reach out to a customer, they create marketing campaigns for the customer. The entire content is created with the customer in mind. But this is a little different. So let's just say you want to reach out to 100 customers, okay? And 100 customers, you have your whole marketing campaigns and you're running them, and over a couple of weeks or months or whatever time that you spend marketing it, they've seen your marketing collaterals, but they really do not have the faith in your product to really go out and start any conversation with you. This is where your partners will come in. If you're able to co-market with your partners to the same customer base, let's just say 100 customers, the impact that marketing is going to have is substantial, because now not only are you reaching out to your customers saying this is what your product is and this is what you can do for them, but also having an influencer, which is your partner, that is going to be able to say, yes, this product, I know of this product and it's worth exploring. That's what gives you a foot in the door for many of these customers. At least you will be able to demo your product and POC your product, and then obviously that converts into a substantial pipeline, which leads us to our the quadrant that we want to focus on always, which is revenue, right? Now, um, the whole idea of generating revenue is to be able to generate a substantial pipeline, and increase your win ratio, right? Both the things can be done via partners. Marketing and enablement are the subtle ways of going ahead and making that impact. But if you are looking at having an impact on your revenue via partners, um, the idea is to create a pipeline via partners through sourced revenue or influenced revenue. I think this is one mistake I've seen startups normally make, is that either the mindset is, let's give an opportunity to a partner, and so that's how you'll grow the partnership, or the partner should bring in an opportunity to you to grow that partnership. Ideally, if you are able to do a good back and forth, you are involving your partners in your opportunity across all opportunities, and the partners are able to do the same for you. The opportunity pool starts to increase. Once that starts to happen, um, you will realize that all through the sales cycle, you will be looking at a back and forth with your partner in terms of the intel that you can derive, or understanding of the customer, or how best to close that opportunity. So what really ends up happening is your win ratio increases, right? And that's what partnerships bring to the table. um, I've known of startups. I'm going to give you an example where they had 10 opportunities and they were closing two opportunities out of the 10 opportunities when they were doing it themselves. But with a partner involved in influencing that opportunity, the ratio, they were able to close about five opportunities out of 10 just by including a partner, not even having a long-term partner, just by having the partner, support them in individual opportunities. Just imagine the impact it will have if a partnership is strong and is a long-term partnership. So the whole concept of partnerships for a startup, it really means a do or die. So either a startup is going to be able to make that revenue to survive, the next milestone or not. And partners can make an immediate and a huge impact to that. With that, I'll go to my next slide. So how does partnership really impact, right? um, we are looking at a, when we look at partnership, we look at a very myopic view of, revenue needs to be generated, which is absolutely, the focus point. No, uh, I mean, we are not disputing that at all. But here's another view of, how partnerships impact a startup. Because you would be looking at speaking to an external audience, which is not your customer, but an external audience that understands your product, can sell and deliver your product, right? It has a huge impact on your analyst rating, right? What that really means is that when analysts go and try to evaluate your product, they're looking at, how your customer responses, how your delivery, quality is, and so many other factors that are considered. One of the factors is what is the response that they are getting from customers and partners on what they perceive your product to be, right? The SWOT analysis of your product. If you do not have a partner ecosystem, then an analyst is dependent on the information that they can derive out of just the customer base. But when a partner comes into the picture, the sheer numbers become huge, right? Because now you're looking at multiple organization, multiple resources within a partner talking about your product, and that has a huge impact in terms of how an analyst may perceive your product or may represent your product. I've seen and I've been a part of organizations where we jumped from a visionary position to a leader position in one of the analyst quadrants, simply because the partner said, we are working with all the competition XYZ, but we also see this another product that's coming up, and that we're pursuing them because this is what the customer is saying about them, this is what we like about that product, this is how we are helping that product grow, and all that stuff. So when an analyst hears all that, they know that this product is getting a lot of visibility amongst the partners and the customers, and that really impacts how the analyst looks at your product. So I can't emphasize enough that when you are looking at improving your analyst rating, partners can have a huge impact on that. Now let's talk about a completely different line of thought, which is competition. What happens to your competition when you have a partner ecosystem or when you don't have a partner ecosystem? So let's just say you don't have a partner ecosystem. You go directly to a customer and you get a couple of opportunities with the customers to present your credentials, right? You'll talk about the product and you will, let's say, demo a product, and if there are any questions or if there are any clarifications required. So maybe 2 or 3 opportunities to really go through the initial screening of whether you make it to the top 2 or not, right? In this scenario, if you go directly to the customer looks at you and say, okay, it's a new product, or it's a new technology, okay, we like it or we don't like it. Let's put in the partner into the mix, right? What really happens is, if the partner's in the mix, same scenario, customers evaluating products, and now the partner comes in and say, hey, this is a new product in the market. We've seen it. It looks good. It's worth evaluating. So they're not really talking about, supporting you fully, but they're just giving some bit of their feedback to the customer, and that is going to make a huge difference in whether you come into the top 2 category or not. Again, you're building your pipeline, and then how the pipeline is really progressing. And the reason I'm talking about competition here is because your competition will assess you whether you are coming with a partner or not with a partner. So if you're coming with a partner or multiple partners in some situations, they are going to up their game, and they're going to make sure that they are there in the same with full guns blazing. If you do not have a partner, they do not consider you competition. Let me put it in as simple as that. Because if you do not have a partner influencing a deal, it's easy for them to win it against you. But if you have partners influencing your opportunities, the competition becomes very much aware of you and your product and their game plan. They have to change their game plan. The game plan changes considerably. uh, and then there is obviously this whole thing about who's able to influence the partners more, and that's why the whole strategic alliances community exists, because you want to make sure that your partners understand who you are. I'm going to go to the next step, which is credibility. How does a startup really, you're possibly a year-old startup or a 2-year-old startup, whatever time frame. How do you really establish your credibility? The way you establish your credibility is you create a product that is, has merit. Your customers, implementations that you are able to complete, are in good shape. And then there is, what are people talking about your product? What is it that is good about your product? What is your acceptability of the product? And this is where your credibility gets impacted. Um, there is there is a huge impact that partner ecosystem creates on your credibility. You see, to understand that, let's just say if you're going in account and you're selling your product there, you only get a few chances, right? But the partner has been in that account for many years. They have that relationship, that when they say that this is a product that is, a strong product in the market, that creates or that impacts your credibility. If your partners don't know you, that also impacts your credibility. So the partner impact comes in when your partners are talking about you. They are able to talk, they are at least able to point out the key differentiators of your product, and they are able to influence the customers in terms of buying your product. And they're able to really say that we back your product, really. But to be able to get to that stage, like I said, there are a couple of things that need to be organized in terms of while you create your partner strategy. And last but not the least, and I think we stressed enough during our conversation today here, is the revenue impact, right? All this creates a revenue impact. Now, let me talk to you about some numbers here, right? We've been talking about revenue for a while now.
I
Uh,
sorry to interject. This is Sirisha. If I
sure,
may ask a question
absolutely.
with regards to partners and the previous topic you were discussing before you jump into revenues. I'm speaking with Just, right?
Yes.
Just my name is Sirisha, and I'm part of Shrini's network. I mean, it's we are one of the startups which Let's Talk It is supporting. We are into wearable devices for health and wellness. We're developing sweat sensors, and we are at a stage where you're, exactly talking the things that we're doing. We're scouting for more partners. I mean, we are talking to, a lot of potential customers, launching the MVP, and then going ahead with the paid pilots. This is exactly the journey where we are right now. So my question is, like, initially when we start off, being a hardware and a software company, I mean, not everything is perfect, right? I mean, not everything is perfect. Maybe there are pitfalls, maybe there are things here and there that we need to go back and fix. What is the trick to make them a repeat customer? I mean, first thing is, like, to be able to translate a potential customer into a paid pilot, that took quite a considerable amount of journey. And now making the paid pilot into a repeat customer, that's the step that we should be getting into after we begin with the pilots. So how do we make sure that we build this long lasting relationship, making them understand that hardware could have problems, and but still we are here, we give them the comfort and warmth to take the journey forward. If there are some changes they recommend, we go back home and tweak, go back to the whiteboard, rework on it, come back and present exactly what they wanted, because this is also partly product market fit, what we'll be trying out with the initial first bunch of customers. So what is your take on that? I mean, I just want to hear from your side as to what you think about it.
So, Sirisha, this is not new. This is a story of all startups. I've been through it many times myself. And I know what I've been a part of the healthcare industry as well, from the data side, so I understand a lot of what you're saying. But here is the thing. So what I heard from you is customer focused, right? You're saying you want to do this to the customer, and that's exactly what I'm trying to tell you. If you're all on your own and you're trying to do this with a customer, you only get to influence the customer as an individual, right? As a company who's trying to do an XYZ product solution plus hardware, part of it. What if there was, let's just say, in whatever customer you're trying to sell, there must be at least 4 to 5 partners that are also part of that ecosystem, influencing the customer one way or the other. So if you want your customer to stand by you in the process of your product development, you must have that partner ecosystem also be a part of your journey. The moment you start involving them and sharing some part of your aspirations or your challenges with them, you'll start getting a lot of support and help from them, telling you this is how you can do this with the customer. Don't say this to them, do this to them. They've failed here, they've succeeded here. So you will get a whole lot of support from the partner ecosystem that is going to help you go through that process of back and forth of your product development. That would be my 2 cents here, Sirisha.
Great. Thanks. I mean, it seems like, you're coming from strong experience on these areas. And you also mentioned during the conversation about some of the software companies and the partnerships, that they could be interested probably in a, potential healthcare kind of a collaboration. Maybe I'd like to discuss this in detail with you, maybe off this meeting.
Sure.
So I'd like to connect with you. But this helps me. I'm listening into you, and everything that you're saying is like, it sounds like magic to my ears, because this is exactly what we're going through right now.
Yeah.
So thank you. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks, Suresh. I spent a lot of my life in sales, and I decided to really jump over alliances because I realized sales is one part of the story, but what the impact that partnerships can make is huge. I'm just going to conclude because we are top of the hour, but just want to give you a few numbers on the revenue impact. My last organization, 2021 revenue numbers, 80% of the revenue came from partners. 80%.
Great.
10% from marketing and 10% from expansion. Like, you had a customer who wanted to buy more of you, right? So what I'm saying is, if you take partners out of it, you're basically left with some 20% of growth that you would do, right? But if you bring in the partner ecosystem to help you, and you treat them with all the love and respect like you treat your customers, right? You will realize that the impact that it can make to the journey of your product is substantial.
Yes, yes, yes. Got it. Got it. I think, I'd like to get on an offline discussion with you, Jess, if, that's possible. I'll come back to you.
We'll
That sounds
happy
good.
to help.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thanks.
So, Phil, over to you. I know it took all the time that we had, so I'm not sure if we have some more time for questions, or how do you want to proceed?
Yes, actually, that's just totally fine. Thank you so much for the wonderful session. We still have time for question. If anyone would like to interact, please feel free to open your mic or send a message to the chat bag or the Q&A section. Section, yes.
One question which I have, this is Sai here, is like, how do you pick the right partner? Because you have so many partners in the field right now. How do I pick the right partner? Because my right partner will make me or break me if I'm not picking the right partner at this point.
Yeah, very valid question, Sai. So who to partner with, and that was I think the second slide, and that is very critical, right? So how do you really decide what partners you want to go with? Couple of options, and there are many ways, but a couple of options. What geography are you targeting? Are you targeting global? Are you targeting US? Are you targeting India? Are you where are you targeting? Where your customer base is? So figure out that. So it's not really important to go with the big guys. You don't have to go with Accenture if your customer base is very, very specific. Ideally, create a mix of a few partners which are niche, which are maybe global, maybe, and there's a technology partnership that can come in. Create a mix of it. But if I have to give you like if you have to short circuit the whole process, really look at the customers that you want to go to, and then identify the partners that are already there in that customer base. Then reach out to those partners, say that my product is really good for these customers, and I'm going to reach out to these customers anyways. Would you want to partner with me? And you will see there's a mix. There's always, all the partners are always looking for the next best product in the market. You will get a good response from a lot of these partners. Even the global partners are always looking at what's the new technology. So my suggestion would be, go the other way. Look at the customers, look at the partners that are there, identify the ones that you want to work with, and then go for it.
Thank you.
Questions?
I think we are on the right track now. I think we are doing the same.
Okay.
I just wanted to see if there is something which you can pull from your hat, which we can learn something new.
Yep, that's the way to go, Sai.
Yep. Again, a question from me, Jess. Sirisha here again.
Yes, Risha.
Yeah, like we were discussing, I mean, like you mentioned some time ago, like if at all you're building a pipeline of 10 partners or 10 potential customers, I mean, you're pretty likely that only 5 of them or 3 of them are really turning out to be repeat customers, right? My question to you is like, how welcoming are these big or small companies? Of course, I mean, we did build substantial amount of pipeline, but then we need more. Let's say we have 20. I mean, we still need another 100. So there are a bunch of IT companies which are also into healthcare with a leg and an arm in healthcare. But how welcoming are they, and how do we touch base with those? I mean, are they business development teams, or are they M&A teams from these companies who would be looking after these deals? Who are those people, especially from IT sector? Any thoughts on those?
Yeah, so a couple of ways you can do that. One, every company has an alliance team that is there, but you may face they have a process. So you may feel that it is a little bit of a prolonged process. You have to go, you have to register yourself, you have to become a partner, you have to learn, and they have to learn so there's a process to it, right? So you short circuit this process. What you can do is, let's just say you have a few customers, and you're doing well, and you want to expand in those customers. I'm going to give you the opposite of that. So what is happening in these organizations is that there's always an account team. Okay, that account team wants to win as much business in that account as possible, right? So they don't care what your product is. They don't care. And I'm sorry, I don't mean it like that. What I mean is all they care is how can they win, right? So if you have a product that they can take to the customer and win with you, they're always open to it.
Great. Great. I hope the world is full of such kind of partners.
No, they are. They are.
Yeah.
I've been doing this for a very long time, Surisha. They always are. It's just that what really happens is like you asked the question, who do you really speak to makes the difference? And that's where the key lies.
Yeah. Got it. My interest is specifically into IT companies. I mean, we have been in contact with wearable tech companies and we've built a pretty strong pipeline there. But getting into IT-based healthcare companies is what we are after now. I mean, probably that is something we haven't touched base, and that's coming as a suggestion from you, from this meeting. I took it as a takeaway from here.
Okay.
And another pointer is like a lot of times we are scared that the IP is hampered, or there could be possibilities of Me Too's because they're bigger players and there are chances that they could simply tweak the IP. We are a small player. We, to do the best, to, showcase the best of the product. I mean, we spill the beans. I mean, we talk about everything in the product, to give them the USPs or whatever. Yeah. But at the end of the day, there were 2 companies in Finland which actually took away the part of IP what we were pitching. So this is another fear since that experience we've had with those guys. Yeah. How do you protect yourselves? I mean, if you have to give out your best, you have to talk about the product. You have to talk about the USPs. And that was a very bad experience for us. I mean, now every time we're at a customer's place, I mean, we really have to think 100 times. I mean, should we say this? Should we not say this? I mean, what's right and what's wrong? So there is a fear. How would you, tackle that?
So Shirisha, first thing is there is not presenting your product is not an option. You have to present it with all the, all the features it brings into the table, right? So that's not an option. So I would suggest get into a very firm NDA with either your customer or your partner or both of them, whoever is present in your presentations, to be able to present this. And it's a very common norm to sign NDAs before a particular presentation. I sign NDAs with all my partners, and it's obviously, once you're in an NDA, you can talk about things, and normally nobody would breach an NDA once they've signed it. If you do not sign an NDA, then you can't hold anybody responsible. Then you're really basically giving your ideas off to to anybody.
I got the point. But despite the NDAs, for example, a client like Mayo, they're a big client, and they are working on devices and apps exactly similar to the ones that we are developing and testing. Okay. So just a non-compete clause in one of the NDAs, I mean, will not hold everything. But I think we'll have to find a workaround.
Yeah, no, not just a non-compete. There are very fierce NDAs, Surisha, that are in place right now because everybody is looking for ideas. Forget the ideas. There are companies who just learn your product and they implement it without you. Like you could be selling. Exactly. And then they don't want to look at you, and then somebody else is coming and implementing your product. You don't want that, right? Exactly. So there are very, very fierce NDAs that are in place. There are also friendlies in place. I don't know if you've heard of this terminology, which is like a friendly NDA. You're not, because you don't want to be harsh on your customer or your partner, right? So you put a friendly saying you cannot do this and you can do this, and those things can be very fierce. And every time you speak of something that is unique to your product, you can say, "I'm telling you this because we are under NDA." So you are basically declaring that this information is coming to you under an NDA, and you can do that in emails as well. We are sharing this with you as we are under an NDA, something like that, and that works.
Got it. Yeah. Sure. I'd like to get on an offline conversation with you, Jess. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Phil, are we good?
Yes, we are good. Thank you so much. And yeah, I haven't seen any other who posted their question. Someone else would like to ask or interact? Okay, if none, then we can close the session. Thank you so much. Such wonderful speakers we have today, both strong women's and with a very intelligent minds. Thank you so much. And also, we would like to know that we also have our Youth Let Us Talk It webinar that happens every other Saturday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. And there is a preparation sessions which you can join every Tuesday and Thursdays at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time by registering at our website. That's letustalkit.com/youth. So we're hoping you'd also support our youth webinars for their encouragement. All right. So we are pleased to have both speakers today. Thank you so much for such wonderful and knowledgeable topics that you have shared with us today. And for the attendees, thank you so much for your time and effort. And hope to see you again the same time and the same day next Wednesday with 2 new topics again with our ZIPINAR in Let Us Talk It. Again, thank you so much and bid you all goodbye. Take care as always.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Bye-bye.